The Young and the Restless spoilers next week. Preview week of June 2nd to June 6th, 2025. The anticipation in Genoa City has reached a fever pitch as word spreads that Nicki Newman's birthday celebration is poised to eclipse every social event this spring. Whispers of an opulent gathering sweep through the corridors of Newman Enterprises, traverse the tables at Crimson Lights, and even echo through the quieter alcoves of society. Everyone knows that when Nicki holds court, the entire city leans in to listen. But beneath the glittering veneer of this grand affair lies a tangle of hidden stories just as compelling. Lily Winters, still nursing wounds from her heartbreak over the Chancellor scandal, is on the brink of unburdening her soul about an unexpected chapter in her romantic life, one that involves the enigmatic Damian Kane. Meanwhile, Abby Newman, ever vigilant about her family's fortunes, corners her fiancé Devin Winters in a quiet corner of their shared apartment to inquire whether Amanda Sinclair has finally moved to arrange that clandestine meeting with the elusive Dumas. Devin, eyes flickering with a mixture of frustration and helpless affection, shakes his head in pity. He's heard nothing, and the silence only heightens his unease. He knows Abby's obsessive pursuit of every scrap of information about Dumas is born of more than mere curiosity. It is fueled by her burning need to protect the Newman legacy and to understand who exactly stands ready to challenge their dominion. Yet he can offer her nothing but a promise to keep trying, and the helplessness in his voice betrays a deeper fear that Dumas's arrival might upend not only Genoa City's power dynamics but also the lives of everyone they hold dear. Just as the clock ticks inexorably toward the evening's festivities, Lily arrives at Devin's loft, her usually poised facade fractured by the raw ache lingering in her chest. She steps inside with measured restraint, but Devin sees the tremor in her fingers as she closes the door behind her. He turns from the kitchen island, halfway through preparing a simple pasta dish to calm her nerves, and regards her with gentle concern. "Lily," he begins, setting down a wooden spoon. "Why aren't you coming to Nicki's birthday party? Everyone's talking about it." Lily's lips become a thin line, and for a beat, silence stretches between them like a canyon. Finally, she exhales, a short, ragged sound that betrays the storm behind her calm exterior. "What happened with the Chancellors? It still stings," she admits, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'd rather dine alone than face another room full of smiling faces when my own heart is shattered." Devin steps toward her, his brow furrowed with empathy. He slips an arm around her shoulders, but she gently shakes him off. "I appreciate your concern, Dev," she says, the words edged with vulnerability. "But tonight, people will be laughing, toasting, dancing. None of that feels right for me. I'd rather sit in quiet than let everyone wonder why I'm faking a smile." In that moment, the memory of her ex-husband Neil's betrayal, the way Chancellor's underhanded schemes left her feeling exposed and naive, glints in her eyes. She knows that once she steps into that ballroom, the world will expect her to parade grace and elegance, but all she wants is solitude to nurse her bruised spirit. Before Devin can respond, a tall, impeccably dressed man enters the loft with the quiet confidence of someone who commands both attention and discretion. Damian Kane. His reputation precedes him, suave, secretive, and steeped in whispers that he moves in circles where million-dollar deals and shadowy alliances unfold in the same breath. Lily's breath catches at the sight of him. Their history is a chapter she has yet to fully unfurl, a connection that began innocently enough but soon spiraled into something neither of them anticipated. Damian's dark eyes soften when they meet Lily's, but there is no mistaking the tension that lingers between them, tension born of unspoken truths and a passion that once burned hot enough to threaten both of their worlds. He offers Lily a small, sympathetic nod, as though he understands the ghosts that still haunt her. "I'm here if you need me," he murmurs, voice low and measured. Lily stiffens, a mixture of defiance and vulnerability warring within her. "I appreciate the offer," she replies, carefully neutral. "But I really shouldn't burden you with my heartache." Damian's lips curve into a sad smile. "You're not a burden, Lily. You know that. If you'd let me, I'd do anything to help. She looks away. The moments of their once shared intimacy flashing behind her eyes, every stolen kiss, every whispered promise, before she steels herself. Tonight, I need to be alone. She turns toward the door. Resolve glinting in her gaze. Tell Devon I won't be joining him. With that, she slips away into the hush of early evening, leaving Damien behind, standing amid the expansiveness of Devon's loft. The space suddenly feeling cavernous with unsaid apologies and lingering desire. Minutes later, Devon, sensing the ache in Lily's absence, decides to attend Nikki's birthday party alone alongside Abby, who has arrived punctually, her designer gown impeccable, her face a mask of excitement and suppressed tension. In her pocket, she clutches a series of photos and documents she hopes will finally shed light on who Aristotle Dumas truly is, a mysterious magnate whose name alone carries the weight of endless questions. When Devon gently asks her, "Did Amanda have any updates about Dumas?" Abby shakes her head, frustration flickering in her gaze. Still radio silence. But I won't rest until I know his connection to Newman Enterprises. If he's behind any of the rumors about underground investments in Europe or sudden shifts in the cosmetics market. I need to be ready. Devon places a reassuring hand on her back, but the anxiety in his own chest churns, partly from his concern for Lily, who remains away from the party she once loved attending, and partly because he understands that Abby's quest for answers could very well trigger a chain of events she might not be prepared to handle. Meanwhile, across town at the Newman estate, the preparations for Nikki's gala are in full swing. The grand ballroom has been transformed into a glittering palace, walls draped in ivory silk, towering floral arrangements of white orchids and blush peonies, and a long, polished oak table groaning under the weight of silver platters brimming with canapes. Crystal chandeliers hang like frozen stars above a dance floor so immaculate it gleams. Pietro, the celebrated event planner whose reputation for extravagance and perfection is rivaled only by his flair for the dramatic, makes last-minute adjustments, a stray petal here, a swath of ribbon there, as though he is orchestrating a symphony of luxury. The hum of excitement spills through the air as Victor Newman, dashing in midnight blue tuxedo, oversees every detail. His gaze flits from one cluster of well-heeled socialites to the gleaming lawn beyond the French doors, where at any moment Nikki's beloved restored Ferrari could make its grand entrance. Inside the mansion, Nikki stands before a gilded mirror in her boudoir, running delicate fingers over the soft lace of her champagne-colored gown. Her face is alight with anticipation. She has no inkling of the storm brewing in quiet corners of Genoa City, and in her heart, she believes tonight will be nothing but a celebration of love and family. As the final guest steps onto the broad marble staircase that leads into the ballroom, Abby and Devon arrive, escorted by security through an elegantly lantern-lit entryway. The moment they cross into the warmth of the gathering, laughter and applause greet them. Devon scans the sea of faces, searching for Lily, then sighs when he finds no sign of her. Abby, distracted by her mission to learn any scrap of Dumas's identity, sweeps past tables of old-money philanthropists and tabloid-baiting reporters. She approaches Victor, who stands regally by a table displaying branded keepsakes from Newman Enterprises, silver cufflinks engraved with Nikki's initials, limited edition flutes etched with the Newman crest. Abby musters all her charm and caution in her voice. "Mr. Newman, congratulations," she says, offering a poised smile. "What a stunning party. But may I speak with you discreetly?" Victor inclines his head, curiosity flickering in his dark eyes. He gestures for Abby to follow him to a quieter corridor just off the main ballroom. Abby's heart hammers as she steadies her composure. She knows that pressing Victor for information about Dumas tonight is a gamble, but she cannot afford to cede an inch of ground. "Sir," she begins, voice hushed, "I'm trying to ascertain whether Mr. Dumas has any plans that could affect Newman Enterprises, particularly regarding a rumored acquisition of Splendor Cosmetics. Do you know anything about his intentions?" Has anyone received an invitation from him? Victor regards her with inscrutable stillness, then finally shakes his head. Aristotle Dumas remains an enigma to me, he replies, his voice hushed but firm. No one in this house has received anything, yet. Abby's stomach twists. Victor's admission, though expected, is a jab to her resolve, but she nods politely, tucking away her disappointment beneath a veneer of unflinching politeness. As she stands to leave, Victor's piercing gaze lingers on her a moment longer, as though he suspects there is more she's not telling, but he says nothing, allowing the festivities to draw them both back into the whirl of celebration. At the heart of Genoa City, where wealth whispers beneath silk drapes and alliances shift as easily as champagne flutes are refilled, Nicky Newman's birthday party was unfolding with all the elegance and intrigue befitting the grand matriarch of the Newman dynasty. It was a night meant to be about joy, family, and celebration, at least on the surface. But even as the chandeliers glistened above and the orchestra filled the air with rich, jazz-laced melodies, an undercurrent of mystery quietly slithered into the festivities, carried in the form of sleek black envelopes and cryptic invitations whose origins could only point to one name, Aristotle Dumas. Nick Newman arrived fashionably late, but his entrance was no less impactful. Dressed in a classic black tuxedo, he moved through the sea of guests with the confident ease of a man used to commanding attention, though tonight his demeanor was softer, introspective, even as he approached Nicky with a small, meticulously wrapped box. Victoria Newman flanked his side, equally composed in a sapphire evening gown that caught the light with every step she took. As Nick handed the box to their mother, Nicky's fingers trembled ever so slightly, the weight of the moment not lost on her. She opened it to reveal a velvet-lined jewelry box filled with tokens of the past, childhood photos, miniature mementos, a charm bracelet from the early days, and a locket containing pictures of her children through the years. It was not a display of wealth, but of legacy. "This is from me and Victoria," Nick said, his voice catching slightly. "It's a reminder that your children adore you, respect you, and always will." Nicky's eyes welled with tears as she clutched the locket, her heart swelling with the kind of gratitude that neither diamonds nor estates could measure. But just as she leaned in to hug her son, Nick gently pulled back and retrieved a separate bundle from his inner jacket pocket, several matte black envelopes, sealed with wax and engraved in gold calligraphy. "These were waiting at the gate," he said, glancing cautiously at Victor. "No courier, no card. Just left there. They've got our names on them." Victor's eyes narrowed, instantly suspicious. "We'll deal with that later," he said firmly, slipping his own envelope into his jacket. "Tonight is about Nicky. The rest can wait." Nicky, however, couldn't suppress a curious shiver. "It's strange, isn't it?" she asked softly. "What do you make of it?" Victor, ever the strategist, offered only a cryptic smile. "It can wait until morning." Meanwhile, across town at the exclusive jazz club where the post-party gathering was gaining steam, Victoria walked through the warmly lit interior with the confidence of a woman who knew exactly what she was doing. The decor, a seamless blend of old Hollywood glamour and contemporary sophistication, bore Pietro's signature touch, cascading velvet drapes, candlelit tables, and a ceiling painted like a starlit sky. Victoria paused to admire the space, then turned to the man himself. "Pietro, you're incredible," she said with genuine admiration. "There's no one who could have pulled this off like you." Pietro offered a gracious nod, but his eyes gleamed as he redirected the compliment. "It was Claire's vision," he said. "Her creative instincts are beyond her years." Victoria smiled knowingly. "She's full of surprises." Just then, Michael Baldwin and Lauren Fenmore arrived, the first guests to make an entrance. Michael, refined in a charcoal suit with an understated flair, exuded curiosity from the moment he entered. Lauren, elegant and poised as ever, wore a crimson gown that turned heads. Victoria approached them swiftly and without fanfare handed them each a black envelope. "These are for you," she said. "You're expected." Michael and Lauren exchanged puzzled glances before opening the envelopes. As their eyes scanned the contents, surprise overtook their expressions. "A private event," Lauren murmured. "Hosted by Aristotle Dumas, in the French Riviera?" Michael's brow furrowed. "We've never met him. Why would he invite us?" Before Victoria could respond, more guests filtered in. Abby Newman entered on Devon's arm, her expression both delighted and guarded as she spotted her mother, Ashley, arriving just behind them. Ashley exchanged polite greetings with Diane Jenkins and Jack Abbott, who followed in close succession. Abby hugged Ashley tightly, her eyes flicking around the room as if searching for potential threats amid the pleasantries. Diane, in a surprisingly affable mood, offered a rare smile and congratulated Michael on stepping away from Victor Newman's legal team. "It's about time," she said teasingly. "I hope you've finally found peace." Lauren chimed in before Michael could respond. "I've convinced him to spend more time in Italy. A little wine and culture never hurt anyone." Jack nodded in agreement. "Diane and I will be there too, actually, for quite a while." There was a shared sense of escapism among them, as though Dumas's distant shores promised more than just a vacation, they promised relief. Renewal, perhaps even refuge. Michael glanced at his envelope again. "Speaking of which, we received one of these." He held it up for Jack and Diane to see. To his surprise, they each produced identical black envelopes from their jacket and clutch, respectively. "We did too," Diane said. "Apparently, Dumas wants us all." Nick arrived at the jazz club shortly after, accompanied by Sharon Newman, whose presence always carried emotional complexity. Their arrival was quiet but significant. Sharon looked resplendent in a lavender evening dress, her eyes cautiously scanning the room. She spotted Michael and Lauren immediately and offered them both a warm embrace. Nick, for his part, remained closely tethered to Sharon's side, clearly keeping his eye on the Dumas situation as closely as anyone else in the room. They were followed shortly thereafter by none other than Esther Valentine, whose appearance prompted a wave of smiles and raised brows. Her energy was infectious as always, and she wasted no time mingling among the elite with her trademark charm. Victoria, watching the room fill with key players from Genoa City's upper echelons, quietly checked her own envelope one more time. The Dumas crest seemed to pulse under the low lighting, its calligraphy unmistakable, regal in a way that reminded her of private wealth and sovereign secrecy. She couldn't shake the feeling that this was no ordinary social gathering Dumas was planning. It was a chess move, an invitation into a world far deeper and more dangerous than any of them realized. As the night wore on, more envelopes were revealed, more names acknowledged. It was becoming clear that the Riviera party wasn't a whim, it was a gathering of carefully selected players. Business titans, social powerhouses, legal minds, and emotional wildcards. Aristotle Dumas wasn't just hosting a party, he was curating a convergence of influence. And in the middle of it all, Nikki Newman, unaware of the growing significance behind those envelopes, basked in the final hours of her birthday glow. But even she couldn't deny the feeling that lingered at the edge of celebration, that the real drama hadn't even begun yet. June 13th would not be just another soirée on the French Riviera. It would be the storm that either solidified empires or shattered them.